As you find your seat, I want to point out that each week we print off announcements. Actually, Toby from Media Head is so kind to print off announcements for us. So it's a good way that you can remember what's going on in Kansas City. The one thing that did not make the announcements this week is a KC Digital Drive event that is going on tomorrow. If you're not familiar with KC Digital Drive, check it out online and check out the event that's going on tomorrow for sure. It's an all-day event that should be really, really cool. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, good. 1 Million Cups is a weekly event where companies get up and present their products and services, and the audience has a chance to ask questions. So if you have a company and you are interested in presenting at 1 Million Cups, go to the website and request to present, and you can fill out a simple form there to get started. If you work at a company and you're curious about what these presenters are talking about, if you think they can help you solve one of your problems, or if you just want to learn more about your company, now is your opportunity to have access to these entrepreneurs and ask them really great questions. So we really encourage audience participation. I know in a room this big it can be intimidating to get up and talk, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. So with that, I want to introduce our first presenter that I'm really excited to hear from. Katie Mulick from the Paw Wash is going to come talk to us about her product. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good. That's a good response. I'm here today with the Paw Wash, and the rest of my Paw Wash team will be up later during the question and answer portion. But before today, how many people had heard of the Paw Wash? Curious. Okay, well that's awesome. Well, that's exactly why I'm here, to spread the word. This is the Paw Wash. Well, it's the Paw Wash 11 years ago when I first invented it for my 6th grade science fair project. Like a lot of kids, I didn't know what I was going to invent or create, but I always had that daily chore of cleaning my dog's dirty paws. And I grew up out in the country in Lewisburg, Kansas, so my dog would always go in the pond and get muddy and come up to the back door begging to come inside. But I always had to take the hoses, the buckets, and the beach towels to accomplish cleaning her. And when this was 3 to 4 times a day, it got really old. So when I had the science fair come up, I thought, I'll invent something to clean her paws and turn it into the science fair project. So I went down to the barn with my father, and we got some PVC pipe. I glued a cap on it from the barn and then put some paw prints on it, and my dad and I used it, and it actually worked. And my dad looked at me and goes, Katie, we have to go get this patented. At the time, I was 12. I was like, that sounds official, but I'm gonna have to look that up in the dictionary or something, because I had no idea what it even meant at the time. I was just excited. I was like, my dad believes in me, and I can make this in every color possible. I could have blue ones, green ones, pink ones for girls, and every kid could have one and never have to clean their dog's paws again. But little do I know at the time, my father was the one that really had to take that financial step into starting a business and go through all of those stages of entrepreneurship to get it going. So after we got our patent, changed. This is now what it looks today. But we got our patent. We met with Joe Rately from Greenies, who's a Kansas City company, and he helped give us some positive advice, and we worked with some licensing with them in the beginning. Ultimately, we decided to make some prototypes on our own, and that took many years along the line. Then when I was in high school, I get a phone call saying, congratulations, Katie, I just saw your product. I'm so proud of you. And I was completely confused because my product wasn't out on the market yet. Long story short, somebody had infringed upon my patent. We ended up going to federal court my senior year of high school. We won. But it's extremely costly. If anybody's ever been to court, it really drained most of our financial efforts thus far, being a small family company. So like lots of entrepreneurship, you just keep pushing forward. We all believe in the product, and I have an amazing team who you'll see later, and amazing family that stays up with me at night, boxing them and just going forward with that. So I have a quick video to demonstrate how the Paw Wash works, and then I'll show it as well.
Meet me with the Paw Clean me with the paw wash now.
You dirty dog!
Clean me with the paw wash. Clean me with the paw wash. Clean me with the paw wash. Clean me with the paw wash now.
You dirty dog!
Clean me with the paw wash. Clean me with the paw wash.
So I played it a couple times because it's about 20 seconds long, but I hope you get the gist of how it works. The cap is you lift it off, and that's mainly used if you want to pre-fill it and take it to a dog park, or you're on the road and you have a car and you just don't want to deal with that. So that's what that's used for. Then you're going to fill it up to the fill line with some water, some pet shampoo or soap, whatever people prefer. You're going to put the dog's paw inside the paw wash, and as you pump it up and down like a shake weight motion, it works like a golf ball cleaner. You put the paw in, and as it's going up and down, it's hourglass shaped, and it has these grooves we built in the inside that create that fluid dynamics of suction, which uses all of the water to flow gracefully through the paw wash and pull anything off the paw into it. As you pull the paw out, we have a squeegee, which helps lift those extra water droplets off and stay into the device so it doesn't get all over your floors or anything like that. But it will still be wet. That's where we have the mitt come in, and it does a final dry with it. Everything can go in your dishwasher, washer, dryer. It's all made to be just really easy. And when inventing, we tried different plastics. We went with polycarbonate because if you're going to set this on the ground or kids are going to use it, they're going to drop it. We don't want it to break. It's close to polycarbonate plastics, close to like bulletproof glass or the hard water bottle plastic athletes would use. So it's sturdy and it's durable and it's not going to break. So today we're in over 150 stores that we personally direct sell to. We have distributors as well. And we're also in some of the major pet chains, but we still need to get out there more. So that's why we're here, to get your help. And if you guys have any connections in the pet industry, I would love to know. I've heard Boulevard speak a few times, and I love their method of really maximizing Kansas City. And that's what I want to do. I want everyone to know the story. I want to help people out with their dogs. I mean, that's the whole point of the paw wash. So I am so thankful for you guys coming today, and now we can do some questions. And my team can come up, join me.
Hey, Katie, we have our first question over here to the left.
Okay.
Your left. Your left.
My left. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So this may be a little grassroots, but have you gone to the dog parks and just brought your product? Because I know sometimes the dogs get in the water bowls and sometimes it's a little muddy. People really have to clean their cars out sometimes after they go to the dog park.
Yeah, I have gone to a few, and we do a lot of local events. We partner with like Wayside Waste, and we do all their strut with your mutts. So yeah, I do go out there sometimes, but I mean, it would be nice to have somebody out there that did that every day at every dog park. But yeah, I mean, that's a great way to market as well. It's a really good idea, and I should do that more.
Got a question here in the center for you.
Yes.
Hi, I like your product a lot. Have you ever thought about diversifying to other markets, perhaps, I don't know, cats?
No. You guys can come out here. You guys can come out here. Yeah, this is a smaller one, and I do have people, because I go to the trade shows, and they go, what about cats? And I'm like, sure, I mean, if they will let you do it. And a couple people they say, yeah, my cat does. I'm like, that's awesome, because I have a cat, and I don't think she'd let me. But if your animal trusts you and you want to try it, go ahead. Yeah, thanks.
Katie, I have a question about manufacturing. I'm over here on your left still.
Sorry.
How did you originally manufacture this? Like, what quantities did you manufacture initially? What quantities has that grown into? And how have you scaled your manufacturing?
That's a good question. Yeah, you can take that.
I'm Katie's father, Mike. What we did, and again, there's hardships as you go along, but we had a factory in China that we were using with a local interest that did our first order. We ran a 2,500 unit order. They came in, unknowing to us, bad run, so half of those units weren't good, but we had enough units to go out and test the market. And that's kind of the story. Once we sifted through those bad units, we actually had the boxes made in Kansas City, ordered the units over, and our first test run was actually the Lewisburg Cider Fest, and we sold like 80 units. So we said, hey, you know, this is Cider Fest, this is going to work. And then after that, Katie got a lot of press. We ran with all the news stations in town, 459 and 41, and we had a airing on Channel 9 once with Wayside Waifs, and that show at the Home and Garden Show, we sold like $8,000 worth of units. So we said, hey, we've got something here. People were actually specifically coming down for the paw washes. Then we did our first container, and that's about 13,000 units, mixed, large, small. And then we got to our second container, and we did move to another factory. Again, the first mold, that 20,000, that's trash. So all those hardships you go through, you just got to just stay with it and believe in your product. You know, if it's going to sell, we see that it did sell, we're continuing that. And now we're over 25,000 units sold and growing. And like you said, 150 stores across the country. We don't even know some of the distributors we have, what stores they have. So it's been a test, but it's been positive.
Got a question here to your middle right.
Couple of questions. One, price point of the product and margin that you're working on, and then you've been through all these legal struggles and all the process of getting this. Are you profitable yet, and when do you expect to be profitable if you're not yet?
I would say to be profitable, you know, if you took the legal fees out of this, because it's kind of crazy. I always ask why. It's a paw wash, and the people who infringe on this and steal the idea, then you go to court, and you can't sit back and not defend we win, but do we win? All we do, the ones who've made the money are the attorneys, but you got to have them. So nothing against them, but when you're attacked, you've got to just hold your ground and just keep going forward. As far as margins, Sue Curry handles that for me, so I'll pass this on to Sue.
We currently, manufacturer's suggested retail price is $28.95, but then we sell that to the retail wholesale market at $12.45. That's the large size, which is our biggest seller. So you're looking at a pretty good margin there. Did that answer your question? Well, we are always working with our factory currently, the one we currently have in China. So that's an ongoing process with them because we just, like we said, got in a whole new round of units. So we'll be continually working on that margin for a set point.
Great. We have a question here in the middle.
Hi, I really love this product because I've had many, many dogs, but I want to know how you came up with the design. If you started with a PVC pipe and now you've got this design with the hourglass shape and the little ridges and stuff, and are you constantly tweaking that design? Or, where did it come from?
Basically, yeah, from the PVC pipe, it looks, they do look different, but we just started, it got tested at KU, and they worked with the fluid dynamics of water, and hourglass, because it goes from a narrower chamber to a bigger one, it lets the paw get all wet, and then as you extract the paw, it goes through a narrower chamber, which helps create that suction, versus it just all being completely narrow. So we tweaked it, but no, this is the final product, and how it's going to look forever. Maybe different colors.
And also the thought in the device was appealing. It's cool. It's blue. Anytime it's at a show or on a shelf, people are attracted to it. So again, you have to have that shelf appeal when people are going through the store. And then just read the front of it. It says what it does. It cleans dogs' paws.
And it's easy to hold because of how it's gripped too. It works with you.
Okay, we got a question here in the center.
I just have a question about the product specifically, and we are expecting a thaw this weekend, everybody, so it's going to get muddy. The cap on that thing, is it screw-on or is it just pull-off? Because I'd love to buy one and throw it in the back of the car, but I don't want the cap to fall off and...
The water to come out?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it lifts off. This part, the ring does come off, but it's used to keep the squeegee on, because without it, if you pull hard enough, it will come off on the paw, so that's why the cap stays on. But if you just threw it, it might pop off. It would be better if you kept it in your like a car holder or like a upright position. Yeah, basically. But yeah, I wouldn't just throw it because it.
Roll around the trunk.
Yeah, I mean you can bring a water bottle with you and then just fill it up as well, or the little spouts too.
We have a question here in the back.
Not a question, but a suggestion. Have you bundled it with shampoo? That's an idea. And the other is private labeling it with, you know, you go into a dog place now and you can get pink, you can get green and everything, you know, different, make it other products so that, you know, it could be Burberry or, you know, those are two ideas I had for you.
We had inquiry like from Australia. They wanted to take a large order, but they wanted orange. So that would be like an FOB order from our factory, specifically for a color that might appeal to another country. So we have looked into that. And the shampoo also we have too. But over the last year, like I said, the legal things that we went through kind of put us just in a state that we're selling what we have and not moving on with other products, but that is in the future.
I got a question here in the center.
Good morning. Fantastic job on starting off with a compelling story in the video. I love that it's on your main homepage there. Have you considered having, you know, users send in videos about how we've used it, how it's changed the way we care for our dogs, and, you know, kind of have it going viral that way?
I would absolutely love that. I get photos here and there. People send them, and I distribute them on the social media. And Garrett really works on website and social media stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know if we could put a section where like send in your video or how to get people to do that, because sometimes people just, they'll make it for themselves, but they don't send it. So. Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
We do have a couple on YouTube that have done that, so we do have a few.
What's been exciting through this whole journey is the fact we brought Garrett on to actually do the social media and reach out. You know, I have my own business, so I'm doing that. You know, we help fund to make this paw wash work. But what's been really, really cool is the first show we went to Global Pet Expo, it made the top 10 CBS morning show products for animal, pet, with Dr. Debbie, can't remember her first name, but that was our first national press. Jay Leno show, we got a phone call one night, hey, you're on Jay Leno. Happened that my TV was off, but satellite was still recording. So I got it. DIY channel, I want that. They ran that for over a year, well, 2 years now. They've been running the rerun of it. It's like free advertising. Hallmark channel 2 weeks ago, called on a Monday, said we want the product. That's cool stuff. And that's what we keep saying is we got all this national stuff going on. When's, like with the big box, going to say, hey, you know, we know we love that product. But again, it is a price point. I mean, if that could be $19.99, it would jump off the shelf every day. That's our struggle.
We have a question over here to your right.
Have you thought about approaching local home cleaning franchises like the Molly Maids, the Maids of the World, and because those folks want to get their employees in and out as quickly as possible, and most of them are entrepreneurs as well that started their own business and they're looking for efficiencies?
No, I actually haven't thought of the cleaning services. We've thought about dog grooming services and those type of pet shows, and lots of people use it when their dogs get hurt. So vets are starting to be like, hey, we use it to soak dog paws with medicines and Epsom salts. So there's that path as well as a soaking. But I mean, I think going into Molly Maids, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And that would be a good idea.
I got a question.
Got in touch with us. That was interesting because it's on that same idea.
I got a question here to your right.
Yeah.
I've got a patent thing that I'm working on right now. Initially, we're looking to do a provisional utility patent. Is that something you guys did to start, or did you go for the full utility patent, or was it a design patent?
Utility patent.
Okay, did you do a provisional initially, or you went for the whole thing?
Went for the whole thing.
How long did it take to get it?
I'd say about 2 years. Hovey Williams was the law firm here locally.
And did the other product come out while you were waiting for the patent to come out?
Well, yeah, the other product, actually, when she invented this idea of a paw wash, immediately I looked at it and it worked. And I just went right to a friend of mine, an attorney, and we went to Hovey Williams, and boom, we started all the claims.
Right.
the suction claim, but one thing we didn't do is a design claim because we were still in the process of
Designing.
coming out of the prototype to what this should look like.
So the other product that came out, did they think they could get a patent? Did they not even? Well, you said they copied it, which is valid.
And
I'm not disagreeing with
we,
that.
I hired Raymond Nairo from Nairo law firm out of Chicago that does intellectual property. Great guy. Took this on a contingency because he loved the story about a kid.
Cool.
It was awesome. That's a big help. If anybody knows about intellectual property, you might as well put your house on the line and everything else. But the thing is that the paw plunger admitted infringement. And at that point, then we were supposed to get royalties. And they came out, basically they were granted a patent too. And it's kind of funny, I talked to a guy in the patent office. I said, when you're reviewing, does the guy in the next office have access to look at what's out there? No. You're shaking your head, no, that's right. It's crazy. Right. You can just keep throwing things out there.
Two people could be on the same path.
Right. 2 years apart, you got your patent and this other one gets granted.
Right.
It's a difficult road, but the thing is I've found is just go forward, sell the product.
Did you collect royalties from the other brand?
We did.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Mike. We have a question here up front.
Yeah, just a comment. You were talking about the fact that you received all this press. Have you thought about working with a company that can take that press and turn it around for you? There are companies out there that can do that.
Again, it comes down to the financial burden to the company.
They would take that on
They have
as,
come to us, Matrix and people like that, but it's expensive.
they might take that on as a contingency.
That would be great.
Do you know anybody?
There are companies that
Maybe
will
you
do
know
that.
people.
It'd be great if you knew somebody
Yeah.
that come our way.
That would be.
Who else had their hand up before? We got one behind you. Right there, Jason.
Okay, right here up front.
Hi, my parents have a business. They sell dog collars to Walmart, and they're one of their largest suppliers. I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but they can tell you all the war stories about dealing with large retailers, and PetSmart too.
No, I'd love to meet with them.
Yeah, and they're in Wichita. That's where their plant is.
Okay.
But I thought I'd just mention that to you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to meet with you after.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
We've experienced quite a bit of that already.
We've got a question right here.
Okay, have you guys ever thought about licensing your product to the factory in China that's making your product so they can sell to the Chinese market?
We do get inquiries. It's kind of funny. We get them all the time on our website or an email. But Denmark was this morning or yesterday, but yes, we have. There's somebody in Hong Kong, and Sue actually deals with a lot of that. Did you want to?
That's the biggest market in the world, and they love their dogs. So
Yes.
We do sell in Japan too.
They buy the small one.
We're in the United Kingdom. Canada is a big seller for us, so we do have an international presence.
Great, we've got a question over here to your left.
Thanks for telling us your story. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
What are you looking for from this community?
From this community, exactly just suggestions help. If you have connections with pet stores, even local pet stores, boutiques, connections, and we're on Petco online, but we're not in the retail actual store. So it'd be nice to make the step from online to actually all the stores. So if you have connections to any national pet stores or local, anything like that would really help us. Any tips on social media, anything that really to grow the company, and that would be helpful at this point.
What we'd like to have is what would be really nice is to get a regional type of situation with a Petco and say, hey, Petco, let's go regional, Midwest. I know a lot of times that's hard with corporate world because they want to go all or nothing, but that would be nice to have PetSmart or Petco and maybe see what a regional sell would do with the product. And again, we would price it so it would be priced at a price of $19.99. So on the shelf, I know for a fact people would buy that without any hindrance.
We have a question right here to your left.
Just a simple question, Katie.
Yeah.
Do you do this full time now, and how long have you done it? Is this your only thing that you do?
No, That's a good question. I also work for a production company in Kansas City called Outpost Worldwide. They actually made my video. So I have connections in like the video world and stuff, but I've been working there. I graduated from KU 2012, I think, last year. I don't know. And I worked at Outpost for a year now, and I do the Paul Wash and Outpost as well because financially I can't fully do this full time. I graduated in film and media studies, and I minored in business as well. So film is my love, and Paul Wash is my love. So I like to stay busy. Like entrepreneurs wear a bunch of hats, I like to do a bunch of different things. And I think being involved with production and media is very important as well.
Great, we got our last question right here.
Did you bring enough to sell today?
We brought 6 large and 2 small. Thank you.
I think we'll donate those today.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've got a few announcements to do. First up, we've got Teresa from Lincoln Prep Robotics team.
Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm so happy to see all of you here today. I'm with Lincoln College Prep. We are part of the Kansas City, Missouri School District, and we're here with our fabulous, amazing robotics team sitting right there in that little cluster. And I'm going to have one of our students tell you a little bit more about us.
Hi, everybody. My name is Monica. I'm a high school student at Lincoln College Prep. So Teresa pretty much gave you a brief summary of who we are. We are Lincoln College Prep's Tiger Bites robotics team. We are one of over 2,700 competitive FIRST robotics teams in the country. Each year, we design and build a robot to play in a specifically designed game and compete with other schools and other robotics teams. So the first Saturday of January, a new game is revealed to us, and we are given 6 weeks to basically design, practice, and build with our robot to be able to be ready for competition. We are able to do this with the help of like our amazing staff of mentors who are not only engineers but professionals who are able to devote their time and basically volunteer their time with us to help us succeed. We are here today because just like all of you, we are a very entrepreneurial group of young adults who not only struggle to have resources that help like keep us going, but also talented professionals and talented people who want to invest in us to help us build our robot. But our most exciting product isn't our robot. It's people, young adults, and children like myself who in the near future will be able to become problem solvers, risk takers, just like all of you, and be able to get out in the world and basically do what we want. So we hope that after this presentation, after the whole meeting's over, that you will come speak with us, you will learn more about us, see our robot, and learn how you can join our team. Thank you.
Next up, we've got Nathan Kurtz with Fail Night. What's your step?
Thank you. Hey guys, so a couple announcements. First off, on the board, there's an Eventbrite page coming up. It'll be up later today. There's a Code Till Dawn coming up February 28th. The idea is come to Kaufman Labs, start coding a project that you wanted to finish and haven't finished yet, and basically work all night. Once the sun comes up, go home. But come collaborate with each other, work on those projects. On the same vein, we have on your announcement sheet, Code Day Kansas City is this weekend. Leslie, raise your hand. Leslie's over here, and seats are almost filled, but come check out the presentation Sunday at 10 at the Sprint Accelerator. Very excited to have high school and college students collaborating on that work. Last thing, Fail Night. It's the second announcement on your sheet. Most press that comes out about companies is about, hey, this company raised a ton of money, or they've hired a bunch of people, but most companies do fail, and there's not a lot out there on, hey, what happened? So we're having, in 2 weeks, February 26th, here in Kaufman Labs, 6 to 8 p.m., come listen to some companies that are gonna get up and talk about what happened, how they failed, the assumptions they made that were wrong. Hopefully it's a learning experience. It's also an open night, open mic night. So if you've had a failure, feel free to come sit down. If you feel like, you know what, I need to talk about this, deal with my grief, and get past it, come up and talk. I don't know if I'll have an open casket. We might do that too, but come hang out, have some light refreshments, and hopefully learn from your community. Thanks, guys.
I have a quick question for you. Can we come to Fail Night and talk about that time at 1 million cups when we ran out of cups?
No. Yes.
Okay. Next up, we've got Tracy from Beta Blocks.
Hey everybody, as I said, my name is Tracy Ford, and I'm here to invite you to an awesome event for Kansas City startups. I run a company called Virtutecture, and I do virtual reality walkthroughs for architecture and engineering companies. As you mentioned before, the Sprint Accelerator was actually my first client, and I got to the privilege of being able to walk through it before it was built using my virtual reality simulator. But I was picked on behalf of Beta Blocks to present at this year's Demo Days on March 6th at 6 p.m. You're all invited to come to it. You can RSVP online at betablocks.com. betablocks.com. We have over 250 people that have already RSVP'd, but you don't have to. You can just show up. Again, betablocks.com, and it's March 6th at 6 p.m. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. We do have some seats in the center aisle, about the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th row, if anybody wants to move on up. Our next presenter, Zachary Manos from Manos Chocolate. Who likes chocolate? Who thinks, is chocolate a vegetable? I mean, it's...
It actually comes from a pod, so it's a fruit.
It's a fruit, so eat your fruit.
Yeah. It's also high in fiber while I'm at it. Awesome. So I'm Zach Manos. I was born and raised in Kansas City. So I kind of grew up eating Andre's chocolate until I was about 16, and then I went vegan. So that kind of cut all it out. If you don't know what vegan is, that's when you don't eat meat or dairy, which also includes cheese and milk, with milk powder, which is in normal chocolates. So yeah, I got started there. I kind of got really into it, and then I ended up working at Nature's Pantry, which is a local health food store, and I got more into raw foods. And what raw foods is it's just like veganism, but it's more like plants and vegetables and raw chocolate. I really got into that. And I'm going to talk about kind of the health benefits really quick before I go into kind of our product development story. So we use raw cacao from Ecuador. It comes from this grove kind of deep in Ecuador. It's actually my friend's friend. The great part of kind of the vegan community in Kansas City being so small is he literally came to me and said, hey, I have this. So we have that. As it says, it's high in all these minerals. Polyphenols are antioxidants, and then vitamins B, all those B vitamins, and then oleic acid, which is actually great for your heart as well as lowering cholesterol, and then it's also a great source of protein and fiber. Our chocolates are low glycemic. We use palm sugar. It's a lot like maple sugar, but it comes from palm trees, and it's higher in minerals. It's a lot more healthy than conventional chocolate. And then, since we're a vegan company, we use sunflower seeds. I started doing farmers markets, and I really wanted to find like a local source of sunflower seeds. I spent about a year looking for them, and you'd think with Kansas being a sunflower state, you'd be able to find some. No such luck. So we get them, I think they're from South Dakota, but they are domestic. I really wanted to keep everything as domestic as I could, this being an exotic product. Yeah. So I started off working in Nature's Pantry. I left there in 2011 to work for local kombucha. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. I brewed all their kombucha, and then in the downtime, I was using their kitchen to make my chocolate bars. The one, I guess, on my right was our first product, the smaller bar. I was working with my aunt to kind of develop that, and then I made bigger bars and developed the product line a little more. I started approaching Hy-Vees, and the feedback I got was kind of, it's too expensive, it's too small. So I worked with my friend who was a graphic designer after that, and we developed a lot better packaging. I went for custom molds. This was November of, I think, 2011. Yeah. And I was told I'd get them by December of 2011. I got them in March, which actually is why I started making Helio cups. So it's a lot like a peanut butter cup, but it's nut-free. I use sunflower butter, mesquite powder, and palm sugar, and maybe crack, because that's how well they sell. I honestly just made them because I needed to make rent that month, and they sold out in less than 24 hours. And then I did that for a couple days, and it got exhausting. So I spent about a week dreaming about like a really high, really good 2-deposit machine. And then I kind of ran the numbers and the overhead and everything, and it'd be better to just do everything by hand. And that's kind of where Manos came from. Manos is Spanish for hand, it's my last name. So I finally got my packaging, and we kind of have the full product line now. And then in, I think it was September or October, I did the Lean Lab, which is a really great program. If no one here has done that, I highly recommend it. It teaches you to kind of how to refine your product and develop a better product. So I did that, and then in, I think it was December, I found out about Handprint KC, which is a great local startup that does 3D printing. I don't really know what they do specifically, but I know they had a 3D printer, and I freaked out and talked to them. We ended up talking a bit, and the plastic they use right now isn't fine enough to make molds. So I spent about a month tinkering with Tinkercad. If you guys ever use that, it's a really cool program. And I made custom molds. And then I actually, last night, I cast them in silicone, and we've been working on new packaging. It's 1 ounce bars. It's right here. So we've got 1 ounce bars, and we've got a bigger custom helio cup. It's now a 2-part piece, which has really helped with manufacturing, because there was, in December, I reached out to Vegan Cuts and was on their online sale program. And December was a crazy month for me. I don't think I slept half those nights. I was just making chocolate. And I realized a lot of my pain points. And I'm still kind of doing that, which is why we switched to our 1 ounce bars and these new packaging. It's going to help out a lot just on my end. We do everything by hand. It's to keep overhead down, but also kind of help me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm running 25% off our packaging, or I'm sorry, all our products through the 20th. We're going to be launching our new product line hopefully next week. I started that in about mid-January. So I've just been doing that, flying by the coat seat of my tail. I can't talk this morning. Yeah, are there any questions?
I've got a quick question to get started. You said you went through a program to work on the design and refine the product. Mm-hmm. Say the name of that program again.
Tinkercad, it's an AutoCAD program that lets you design products for 3D printing. It's free. There's a couple more that are really good, but you have to pay money. And obviously I don't want to spend any money I don't have to.
We have a question all the way in the back.
Yeah.
You said you get your beans from Ecuador. Are they the high quality chocolate beans?
Yeah, we actually source direct trade cacao. It's a really high quality. We pay above fair trade, and so it's my friend's friend, and what he does is he works with a lot of the locals, and they wild harvest cacao kind of deep in the mountains, and then they process it using kind of old world traditions as well as some new science, because with raw cacao there's a lot more quality control because it's a fermented product.
And where can we find your chocolate in the
That's
stores?
actually a really good question. I need to restock the locations, but the closest one would be Nature's Own, Nature's Pantry. We're in a couple area Hy-Vees. We should be in Whole Foods in the next month or two. I'm filling out the application process, which is kind of why I've been rushing to get these new products out.
Great. We have a question over here to your left.
Yeah.
So currently you're doing all of the work yourself, correct, on creating this. What type of a plan do you have in place so that your business can grow? Because obviously a business can only grow as far as what you can produce right now.
Well, right now, so my tempering machine broke last month. There was a chocolate company in Lawrence that went out of business, and I bought all their stuff at liquidation prices. And unfortunately, kind of the drawback of that was one of my machines broke, so I've been doing a lot more by hand than I want. But if I buy a new tempering machine, which should be in the next couple of months, right now we're only at 1/10 of production of what I could do. But I have plans to scale up, but I have more plans to kind of stay more handmade, because when you start getting to those big machines, there's a lot of manufacturing overhead if you don't have the volume, and then you get into marketing. And I'm still in college, so I'm kind of trying to kind of keep my sanity a little bit. There's not much left, but.
Here's a question in the front.
Hi. Can you buy your chocolate on your website?
Yeah.
And what is that?
Yeah, it's ilovemanoschocolates.com. You can just Google Manos Chocolates and it should show up. We're also on Vegan Cuts still right now, and they run a super great deal. I think you get everything for like $15 or $20, and it's free shipping if you want to check that out. And then I get some kickbacks from that, and they love me more, which is great. Vegan Cuts, it's a flash site, and it's great to find like vegan products that are really good.
Great, we got a question over here to
As well.
your left.
So I kind of have two questions then. One, is that your website domain, or is that like a partnership under another domain?
I love Manos chocolates. That's my site.
Okay,
Does that
good
answer your
deal.
question?
The other is, how do you identify new customers? Like, where are you going to
Customers.
actually grow the reach of who knows about your chocolates?
So I worked at a health food store for 2 years, so that kind of gave me a good idea of my customer base. I have some friends in the industry as well, and I've noticed it's a lot of like yoga people, for lack of a better word. And I have some good connections in that industry, so we're kind of working right now getting to more yoga studios and kind of more the end user. We've noticed it's better in specialty stores than it is with the Hy-Vees, just with the region. In the Midwest, the ideal chocolate bar is a Hershey bar, so that's really what I'm fighting right now.
Got a question here in the middle.
Good morning. So last week I was at the Resilience Summit with Jeremiah Oyang and Crowd Companies, collaborative economy. So have you considered, going out to have people in the, crowdsource your product instead of going up and selling it to Hershey's or something? Use people to do it in their own homes and keep it organic.
There's a really cool company, and they crowdsource, I think it's beer, and they have an open source recipe, and you can alter it and sell it however you want. I thought about doing something like that, but this is what I'm doing right now. So I think it's a really cool idea, though, and maybe in the future I'd like to do something like that, but yeah.
Great, we have a question over here to your left.
So you mentioned the vegan community is really small, which means ultimately your market's small. How do you convince non-vegans to try something that they may think that sounds weird?
Well, the vegan community is small, but you also have vegetarians, people that eat local, and people with food allergies. There's kind of a lot bigger market opportunity for gluten and soy-free, which our products are, as well as low glycemic. Also, I think it's like 33% of people are actually trying to eat more kind of like healthy vegetarian choices, whether or not they are. And most of the people that have had my chocolate, it's been word of mouth, and they just say it's good. I mean, you don't have to be vegan to eat vegan food. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Or?
Got a question to your right.
Yeah, hi. Tinkercat?
Yeah.
Now, that's what you're drawing on. You're
Yeah.
not able to use a 3D printer to make your mold. Are you doing like resin casting?
They have partnerships. I used iMaterialize in Belgium, and everything actually got here 2 weeks sooner than I thought it would. So I was actually going to have this ready, and then I got it in the mail, I think on the 5th.
iMaterialize.
It's a really good company.
And have you thought about, Easter's coming up? Have you done eggs? Have you done bunnies? Is it more of a packaging concern?
I'm actually working on a 3D mold that's an egg for Easter now. That's the next thing. Glad you asked that. Thanks.
We have a question here in the middle.
Yeah.
Thank you. You said it was low glycemic. Would it be appropriate for people with diabetes?
I'm not a doctor, so that's up to you. I'm not making any health claims, but this is the health claims of the ingredients from verified sources. It is low glycemic. We do have our nutrition facts online. I have had people that are sugar sensitive say it's all right for them, but I haven't done any official testing. I don't know how that
Just
works.
a huge potential market.
Yeah, I know.
Got a question here to your right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that at sometimes some grocery stores, most grocery stores really, whenever we have like vegan-friendly foods and things that are for like people who make these food choices, they tend to be more expensive. So how would you say that your like products are priced?
Yeah, so our 2-ounce bars are $5, and our Helio cups right now are $2. My margins are actually lower than a lot of the competition because we have options in the Midwest that make things cheaper, as well as a couple other things I've done to lower the costs. So I started off, I really wanted to make a big bar and make it kind of as inexpensive as I could. So I started out with a $5 bar, and nobody really wanted to buy it that wasn't vegan. So that's kind of what caused our pivot to these smaller bars that are going to be about $2.50 to $2.75. It is a more expensive product, but for what you're spending, you're getting your money's worth.
We have a question back here to your left.
This is more of a comment, and it goes along with the low glycemic index thing. If you've never used stevia with chocolate, you might want to try that.
I have. It didn't turn out that well.
Did you try Truvia?
I used raw green stevia powder, which is kind of the best stevia you can get. I think I used like 2%, and you still get that aftertaste. So I might work on, there's a lot of other herbs you can use to kind of mimic a sweetener. I'm looking into that as well.
You mentioned that one of the things that was really influential in your development was attending the Lean Lab.
Yeah.
What did you learn from, what did you take away from that? What was that experience like?
Yeah. It was really good. It was really hectic. We started on a Friday night, and basically what you do is you pitch business ideas, and then they pick one, and then you run with it, and you go out, and you get customer feedback, and you kind of refine your business concept until you have a minimum viable product, and then you try and sell it.
So what were the assumptions that you went in with, and how did you refine those assumptions after that experience?
About my business, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought people wanted to spend $5 on a chocolate bar, and kind of what I noticed is our Helio cups were moving, I think, 10 times better than even our best-selling bar. So it was, and then I wondered if it was price or whatever, and I did kind of some testing at farmers markets, and it was a lower price point, even if it was, I guess, a smaller size. Like, people were more inclined to spend $3 than they were $5, even if it was slightly more, which I thought was interesting. So that's our pivot to that.
Cool.
We got a question here to your right.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say I'm not vegan, and this is definitely the best chocolate I've ever had. But you mentioned the new product line, so I just wanted to know a little bit more about what's coming out.
Yeah. So Door to Door Organics should have our new bars hopefully in the next week or two. We're going to have 1 ounce bars and these newer, larger Helio cups. I've been making them by hand, so we kind of had human error. And this new, the change allows us to kind of create a more consistent, better product.
Great. We have a question over here to your left.
What's the shelf life?
Shelf life? Our dark chocolate bars are about 2 years. Our milk chocolate is about 1 year, and then our white chocolate is about 6 months. Sunflower seeds have a more unrefined oils in them, so it's a shorter shelf life.
I have a question right over here.
So you talk about milk chocolate, and cacao, in my experience, is more of a pure chocolate. And we're vegan and vegetarian, so definitely something that I'm interested in. But what we've done is done the cacao with we've made it into more of like a truffle.
Yeah.
With like what am I thinking? Like a prune or something like that. Now, when you talk about your milk chocolates, still no dairy?
Still no dairy. We use sprouted sunflower seeds and we blend them in. It has a little bit lower melting point than conventional milk chocolate because of the fat profile, but it tastes kind of like a brownie. They're really good. Raw chocolate is a bit more tannic though because it is unroasted. You are getting more antioxidants and health benefits though, so it's kind of more for your body, and you know that than I guess your mouth.
So all of those could really be marketed as more of a pure cacao, because that's definitely an industry. And also I thought about, have you approached Dean & DeLuca, or more of a high-end grocery store?
I've looked into it. I talked to them when I first had my packaging, and I kind of got shot down. So now I'm really working on getting this new product line out, and then I'm going to go talk to them for sure. I would love to be in their store.
Should like 20 of us call Dean & DeLuca in the next couple days and ask if they carry it?
You guys should call Whole Foods, Sprouts, Vitamin Cottage, all the Hy-Vees, Walmart, why not?
All right, who's in? Okay. That's how we get things done here, right?
We got a question right up front.
Have you considered focusing less on the vegan aspect and more on the high quality health aspect of the raw cacao?
I've thought about it. I really don't like charging a premium price though. I've looked into what some of the other companies do, and I'd rather make it a little lower, and this could probably be completely throwing off my target demographic, but I'd rather be able to make it so as many people that can buy it. Instead of charging $5, I'd rather charge $3. Even with that size, I probably should be charging $5, but.
Great, we have another question right up here in front.
It sounds really great. Have you written a business plan?
I wrote one 2 years ago. I did actually I think it's the Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation through UMKC, which is a really great program as well, and I wrote a business plan then. So I kind of have a general, I guess, guideline, but I've just been going more as it goes.
Because you're going to school, but I'm not saying you should put school off, but
I kind of want to.
Yeah. But if your objective is to make it successful, you may need to take a business plan to a bank and throw it down there and say.
I did that last year as well. I'm 21, so I don't really have a credit history. I'm working on building one now. So that's kind of the catch-22 is why I've kind of really had to go lean and max out my credit cards.
This is actually more of a suggestion than a question. But you know, we've had some different coffee presenters here at 1 Million Cups in the past, and they decided to make a 1 Million Cups coffee blend. So like maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you ever made like a 1 Million Cups like chocolate coffee thing. That would be cool.
That's a really good idea, but there's so many coffee companies that have presented here, I wouldn't know what coffee to put in.
We need a panel of tasters for that project. Zach, did you bring something for us?
Yeah, I did bring samples of our 66% dark chocolate, and I'll be up here afterwards with that if you want to try some.
Awesome. More questions? You got one? No? Okay.
Like to shift just a little bit to your marketing strategy. So as I was sitting here, I Googled Manos chocolates. Actually didn't Google it, put it up in the address bar, and it redirects to Manos corporate gifts.
Yeah.
Which, is that you? And if it's
That is
not
not
you,
me.
have you considered a name change that would be more proprietary that you'd already have? And as a third follow-up, if your website is I Love Manos Chocolates, should your Twitter account be I Love Manos Chocolates?
I think the
also?
handlebar is too long for the name. But I've thought about changing my name. We actually had issues with that happening that I would prefer not to talk about. You can talk to my mom about that because, yeah. But I think we're going to stay with my name because we are a handmade product and that's what it means. I did consider some name changes when I was doing everything last month, but yeah.
Who's got their hand up? You've got your hand up, sorry. You were very quick. I'll be right back. I like your shirt.
Hey, I was really happy to see that you were presenting here today. I discovered your product probably last summer, and unfortunately, the store that I bought it at, I don't think they carry it anymore. I'm
Was it?
64th Street Hy-Vee.
It should still be there. I dropped some off.
Maybe they were out, which would be a good
They
thing
were
too, I
out for a
guess.
week or two.
So I've actually been, what was I going to say? Maybe you already have it on your website, but it could be helpful since you are in a limited amount of stores to put on your website where we can find your product because I did save your packaging and it's taped to my refrigerator as a reminder, but because I thought my store didn't carry it anymore, I wanted to know where else to find it, so that might be
We have a
helpful.
locations page on our site that will say all of our locations.
Questions? I've got a quick question. Do you rent a facility to make your chocolate in? Or do you own it?
So I took over a lease in March for someone else that went out of business. And then I bought my own facility. Well, I'm renting a facility now in Lee Summit, and it's my own space.
How do you do quality control in each of your batches?
Taste testing. But I have some stuff in place. I did have one batch that wasn't raw a long time ago, and I think I just ended up eating it or giving it away. But for the most part, we're pretty consistent.
We got a question over here to your left.
So I've loved your presentation. Have you considered going on the 1 Million Cups road trip to help launch this? Since you have such a long shelf life for your products, like a year to 2 years, I think going and tapping into the other 1 Million Cups around the country would definitely help you out, especially with already having your website up. You could get a lot of good reach there.
I would love to. That just might be a conflict with school. But, but if anybody wants to send me out there, I'll go. I don't really want to be in class, so I hate to say it.
Other questions? Who's got them? It's chocolate, people. Everybody
I've
wants to know about chocolate.
I read something on the internet, so it must be true. Yeah. Is chocolate, the future of chocolate, going to be tougher to get the beans? And is that where we're headed? And
I've read multiple things. I've read that they're growing more in the East, but I've also read that the growing demand in China and I think India, because I think it's their income's rising, the demand for chocolate's rising. It was a really interesting article. But But unless someone comes in and buys out the farm that I'm getting from, it's not really going to be a supply issue. But if that happens, I'll burn that bridge when I get to it.
Question here in the center.
I never want to ask one, but if they're asking, I'll ask. So you said you need volunteers. Early on in my marriage, I lost a newlywed game at a party because it was, what's your spouse's favorite food? And she said chocolate. I argued it wasn't a food group and I lost. So taste testing, do you need volunteers and how can we help?
We're actually looking at doing some tasting events soon. One of the big things we're looking at doing though next month is, so the other half of my building is a yoga center, and we're looking at doing kind of a chocolate yoga. Food yoga was kind of a big thing in New York and I think LA last year. I don't know if it's still a big deal, but they would do yoga and then they would eat like steak and lobster, and that doesn't really make sense to me, but we're gonna do it with chocolate, so if you wanna come do that.
What are some of the challenges that you had to work through dealing with a food product with the Food and Drug Administration?
Yeah. So my freshman year, I went to Mizzou for food science, so I got kind of a pretty good background on that. I mean, just getting into stores, just kind of finding the right product size and the right price point for the Midwest. I mean, this would sell pretty well on the coasts. It's a lot more competitive out there, but it'd be easier to get in. So it's just kind of been more finding the right mix of everything. Does that answer it?
Well, my question was more around FDA type
FDA.
regulations around food products. I'm not familiar with any of that, so I was curious what kinds of challenges.
So we got inspected, I think by the FDA a couple months ago. They just come out, they have a local representative, and they certify you for food service. It's actually a lot easier if you're going to do manufacturing exclusively to just go through the state, because it's a lot less of a hassle. It's also free. It's your tax dollars at work than paying, I think, $100 or $200 to be certified by like Johnson County or Clay County. That's what I did initially. And this has been a lot more low maintenance. It's a lot easier. You just kind of have to have some bare minimums. You can find that all online, just to be safe.
Okay, we've got time for one quick question. Here you go.
I think more troublesome than maybe having trouble finding chocolate in the future is that we can't find sunflower seeds in our own backyard.
Yeah.
Can you speak to your source of sunflower seeds? Did you say North Carolina?
It's South Dakota. I do have someone that runs a farm in Kansas, though. They're working on growing organic sunflowers. It's just a grant process, and he lost me after he started talking for about 10 minutes. So.
Great. Zachary, thank you very, very much. And what can we do? What can we do for you?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is I've been dealing with a lot more online orders the past month, and we just have online, like an online shop. If there's like an all-in-one, I don't know if it's Shopify or what the best app would be to do online orders and then just getting it shipping ready. I mean, filling out like 100 orders at 1 o'clock in the morning online, typing it out has kind of become a pain.
Great. And we should ask for your product at which stores again?
Everywhere.
I like it. Thank you again. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah.
I hope nobody tried to show up last week. So it was on our Twitter feed and on the Startup KC Facebook page. We were putting out the announcements and through email. So in terms of bad weather, keep your eye on that. Thank you for coming out. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thank you.